more housing in the capital region, but we hope that you understand that our support is not unqualified. There are a few issues that touch on safety and quality of life that we'd like to see addressed as part of going forward with this. And I believe Council has an excellent opportunity with this particular proposal. It's an opportunity to show that projects like this, that increase density in established residential neighborhoods, can avoid blind obstructionist NIMBYism and carry the support of the residents quite readily if care is taken at the outset to some of the small things that are going to come up. My neighbors and I have some issues to present to you in hopes that there'll be some commitment to mitigating these as the project is approved. My topic is traffic volume and speed on Conn Road itself. I submitted a written summary of the issue that I think you might have, but I'll use the rest of my time to give you some of the highlights. There was an engineering analysis that was part of your a report to you, supplementary report number 2, I believe, 22nd of September. And it does address matters of volume and speed on Conn Road, but in my opinion, it did so in a flawed manner that seriously underestimates the current problem. I won't get into a methodological debate, but the volume was measured at a date and a time that was supposed to be peak, but was far from it. Speed was addressed really a bit more as a matter of terrain and likelihood of speeding rather than observation of the serious speeding that does take place on Conn Road. The point is that there's already serious volume and speed issues on Conn, far more serious than has been presented to you. So increasing residential density in this development will inevitably make these things worse. There's just no way around that. So if they're not addressed at the outset of the development, not only are you going to have a flood of complaints after the new buildings are occupied, but these problems combined with factors like parking and visibility that I think my neighbor is going to address, they could lead to tragedy. And that's not exaggerated. And living on that road for 25 years, I've seen some incredible close calls. Every resident on Conn Road could provide you with a personal story of near-miss head-on collisions, barely avoided side swipe, and heart-stopping dodging of parents and children leaving and coming to daycare. So we're already living on the edge of a serious accident. More uncontrolled traffic on that road makes it more likely that that accident becomes a reality. The sidewalk that's proposed to mitigate some of this isn't really enough. We would suggest that extensive traffic calming is necessary to slow the speed of traffic, as well as deal with some of the inevitable volume issues that are going to come up to help disperse traffic. So, to conclude, I circle back to the beginning of my remarks. I want to confirm that my wife and I are in favor of this development, but not unreservedly so. And we hope you can approve the developer's applications and somehow deal with our concerns for traffic safety, especially on Conn Road. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul. Any other speakers welcome to step forward at this time? Okay. Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, my name is Stan Brigadier. I live at 847 Cameo Street. I'm secretary of the North Dakota Community Association, but I'm not speaking on behalf of the community this evening, speaking as a private individual. And I will be making most of my remarks about the sidewalk, and I sympathize with the gentleman that just spoke. I know that there are residents in the Kincaid-Conn area who have concerns about a sidewalk and on, but they have not approached the community association to coordinate or get comments from us. So I'm not aware of, before tonight, what the concerns were. Now, I fully support, in principle, a development of this nature on this property. However, I am most perplexed about how changes have come about over the past 3 years. In the spring of 2012, I believe the first proposal was for 29 two-level townhomes and 9 single homes. That seemed reasonable as to density and visible massing. Pardon me. Within the next 2 years, that changed to 33 townhomes and 9 singles. The townhomes now had 29 that changed from 2-level to 2.5 to 3-level units. Also, numerous variances were required. The character of the development had changed considerably and were not directed to low-cost or low-income housing as I would have expected, and comments have been made at the open houses towards that proposal. I remain neutral on the housing, but still perplexed and somewhat disappointed. The commercial development I certainly support. The corner of Douglas Dieppe needs attention, and I surely hope safety requirements will occur for pedestrians and cyclists. And we saw from the developer that that corner seems to have some improvements, but I don't know if there were bicycle lanes there or not. That's a very dangerous corner. Now to sidewalks. I'm pleased to see that the developer had a study conducted comparing the amenity extension past Dieppe Con corner, either along Dieppe or along Con. However, I feel that the observation period was too short, that being 3 hours on a one-day afternoon, but a good start. I realize that Saanich is not in favor of installing a sidewalk on a dead-end street. However, this is not an ordinary dead end, as cyclists and pedestrians have safe and direct access to Quadra and then beyond to Royal Oak Shopping Centre, Rithitz Bog Nature Area, and Broadmead Shopping Centre. I have used that for 20 years, walking, when I could walk much better than I do now, to both the shopping areas with my backpack and sometimes carry groceries home, and feed the ducks at Rithitz Bog. Also, there's a lot of on-street parking on Dieppe, and which is not the same on Con, at least it's been my observation. And that on-street parking and cyclists and pedestrians mix in the middle of the road. I also feel that the study did not properly address all considerations as follows. 1. Convenience to public transit was rated equal. You've heard Mr. Moore. There is no safe crossing of Quadra at Con, whereas there are traffic lights at Quadra, Chatterton Way, near the Dieppe exit. These routes are certainly not equal. Dieppe is the only safe route to public transit. 2. Con to Quadra is a relatively steep uphill grade, and thus a more difficult walking route than the level grade on Dieppe. For elderly citizens and some others, perhaps with a mild handicap of some sort, that's a biggie. 3. The additional pedestrian traffic, which can be expected from the approximately 150 residents in this new development, was not considered. And we certainly hope that many of these residents will use public transit. Their only safe route currently to public transit is to the end of Dieppe to Quadra. Also, the shopping areas I have already mentioned. I believe these facts, which favor the Dieppe route, should be properly weighted in this deliberation. However, if Saanich insists on the Con route, then I say that the sidewalk must go all the way to Quadra, and then a safe crossing be assured with the installation of traffic or pedestrian crossing lights on Quadra. Nothing less would be acceptable. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brigadier. We welcome any other speakers. Hello, welcome.
Good evening. My name is Ron McFarland. I live at 4289 Con Road. That's at the corner of Con and Kincaid, across the street from Mr. Hall. I'd like to speak about a lot of the hazards I see for pedestrians walking past my house in the daytime and most especially in the nighttime. There are many pedestrians that do take the bus, come down from Quadra on Con Road, and also walk up that hill. And at night, it's dark. And people, vehicles come off Quadra quite rapidly onto Con Road and barrel down the hill at alarming speeds. And also people come around the Dieppe onto Con Road and gun their engines going up the hill. I hear this all the time. The pedestrians are forced to walk on the road because of there's no sidewalk there. And another issue with the visibility on Con Road, as it turns around from Quadra, there is a large hedge that obscures the view around the corner, and in addition there are residents that park on the north side of Quadra that compounds the obscuration of the view, so that people coming off Quadra can sometimes be very startled by people barreling up Con when they meet at that turn. Recently it's become quite noticeable that people are parking on both sides of the road, and the road is basically narrowed down to less than a lane. You have to do a zigzag in between all the parked vehicles in order to safely make it through there. And when you have two-way traffic through there, and some of it is happening at high speed, that's a very dangerous situation. And to have pedestrians have to walk through this obstacle course is quite dangerous, and at nighttime doubly so. That's basically the point I wanted to make.
So just to clarify, Mr. McFarland, thank you for coming. You're suggesting the sidewalk go up Con?
That's correct. I'm in favor of the, first of all, I'm in favor of the development proceeding. I think that it is good that we improve the density as opposed to sprawl. The development is going to change the aesthetics of the area from the current semi-industrial look to a much better groomed look. But the additional density is also going to create additional pedestrian traffic up Con Road. And I'm in favor of the sidewalk proceeding up Con Road, preferably all the way to Quadra.
Thank you for that clarification. Hello, welcome to the meeting.
Thank you. My name is Lynn Patelski. I live at 4268. I live at 4268 Kincaid Street, and I'm the block watch captain, and two of my members have already spoken. I'm totally in favor, and as my husband is as well, of the development that Ian and Wayne Fat have proposed. We've lived in the district now for over 35 years. We live directly behind, and we're in the houses that are right behind that are most affected by the development. We first met Mr. and Mrs. the old Mr. and Mrs. Fat. When we first moved there, they were still living there, and they're in their 90s. Wonderful people. We met Ian's mom and dad. I worked with them. We saw them try to develop a church. Residential care homes, etc., going in there that was denied by the community. And Ian, I've known for years as well, through swimming, etc., his kids and mine. So we have a long history. I know that they are extremely generous to the community, and they've worked with us in the Block Watch to make sure that all of our concerns are listened to. Each of us has been speaking on something, and mine was more towards amenities and also a little bit about safety. Our Block Watch comprises of 23 homes on Kincaid Street. 7 of the homes back directly onto the development. The Kincaid Street, Kincaid Place, and Con Road. We've asked, and the FATs have offered, to minimize the impact of the development with respect to safety for those of us who frequent Con Road either by car or on foot. The addition by the FATs in their proposal of 2 new street lights and a pedestrian sidewalk between Dieppe and Quadra is a very significant contribution, and one that is very much appreciated by all of us. Well, they're both moved out now, but I have 2 teenage daughters who consistently use that bus stop that somebody has said that is not frequented. Well, I know that it's frequented for people going to university or going to rental school. I had ESL students for several years, and they use that bus stop at the top. Everybody goes up from around and goes up that hill and comes down that hill. And again, as Mr. Paula stated, and Mr. McFarland, it's a very, very dangerous road. And I think when I spoke at the last meeting back, I'm not too sure when, 2 meetings ago, I asked you guys to go and have a look and see what we're talking about. I also want to speak on the amenities that FATs have included, and I really am happy. I was happy to hear Mr. Strongatharm's presentation. There are some people, I understand, that believe that the additional amenity contribution for affordable housing fund offered by the FATs is not large enough, and our Block Watch group is wondering why. We understand that the usual contribution per unit for amenities by other developers is usually in the ballpark of $1,500 per unit. When we examine the development plan, our main concern has always been about the safety of our community. We're concerned that a demand on the FATs to increase this $1,500 to a higher figure will impact the contributions that they've already added regarding the safety concerns of our neighbors that are most impacted by the development. We believe that the FAT development will significantly increase the annual tax base, and that Saanich is expected to collect approximately an extra $90,000 annually. Surely Saanich could afford to budget some of their annual profit and put it towards the Affordable Housing Fund. It's just a challenge for you. Finally, in closing, and speaking on behalf of the majority of our Block Watch group, we just met recently. We decided who was going to come out and speak tonight. We've met about 3 or 4 times with Ian Fatt. We've been to the community, all the community meetings and presentations that the FATs have held. And we sincerely hope that Saanich will finally, please, finally, approve the development as it stands. I'm just darn glad that there's no more chickens down there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mikowski. I've got that written down. And thank you also for being a Block Watch captain. That's wonderful. We welcome our next speaker. Hello.
Everybody knows me. I'm Ray Gailey Farms. And I support this development for 2 reasons. It's going to make a good use of land available for people, as much density as you possibly can, rather than sprawling out all over the place, especially starting in farmland. What the FATs are doing here, and I'm proud of them, they were a local wholesaler, and they support the local farmers. Some of them don't, especially when they're based out of the country. They're there for us, and we're there for them. Farmers need wholesalers too, and they do support our Saanich provincial vegetable growers. I'm proud of what they're doing here. They're putting new buildings up there that are going to be very efficient compared to what they have there, to be competitive with the mainstream out of country. But it's also important, so the fact is, in the future, all council members will be relying on the FATs to sell their food from Panama Flats. Then you'll appreciate being a farmer and having a wholesaler buy your stuff. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gailey. Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, good evening. My name is Peter Wing. I live at 4234 Kincaid Street. I'm here today. I want to speak about the development area A and more specifically the permitted uses. Here it says development area A, 2 items, food processing, wholesale and warehouse distribution. So I asked myself a question, what are food processing and what are wholesale and warehouse distribution? What is the intent? What would be the intent of this council when they approve this bylaw? So that what drew my attention. So I went to staff, and staff were very helpful, and they provided me with Schedule 1730. My understanding is Schedule 1730 is part and parcel of the zoning bylaw 2003. So I think we need to get this right, and we need to make sure it is clear. So I went to the bylaw, and the development area A, the following uses are permitted: food processing again, wholesale and warehouse distribution. And that's all the bylaw said. Somebody reading this bylaw will have a clue as to what the food processing means. Does it include food processing for human consumption, or does it include food processing for animal feed? So it's not very clear. Similarly, for warehousing and distribution, there is no definition of what warehousing and distribution mean. For example, would a lumberyard be allowable under this zoning? So this is the reason I'm here, is to draw the attention of council that it's not enough clarity in this bylaw. And I think it is important moving forward that some changes or some definition be put in there so that anybody looking at the bylaw will know what is it exactly that council has approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wing. When we've had all the public input, I will ask those questions of our staff so that we can get answers to that for both your benefit and for ours. Thank you very much. We welcome any further input. It sounds like someone's That's yours.
Hello everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hello everyone. My name is Manmeet Makhni. I live at 4276 Diab Road, and I'm a doctor by profession. And what I've learned is prevention is better than cure. And I'm just sitting here, I did not know what was going on here. I was brought here by my neighbors, and looking at this, I had to get up and say something and shed some light on all this. I live at 4276 for the past 14 years, and I've spent some time as a student walking and catching the bus, and I've also been a driver and driving as well, so I've seen many phases of my life. So walking to the bus, the biggest concern with this development would be a sidewalk that goes all the way from Diab and access to Quadra, because a lot of people walk down that road for sure. So listening to all of this, I would definitely agree and propose a sidewalk that goes all the way from Diab to Quadra. And my second concern, listening to the residents at Con Road, hopefully I pronounced it right, I used to be calling it Kane Road all the time. But the speed is one concern. My other concern was if any of us, well, all of us have already taken Con Road, driving up to take a left on Quadra Road, there should be a traffic light or something. Because as this development would increase a lot of people using that road, driving on that road, and it's a major intersection really, Con and Quadra, and there's only a stop sign there for right now. But and at an average, taking a left on that stop sign, it takes about 4 to 5 minutes regularly, but on peak times it takes up to it does take a long time, so a traffic light would be great. And that's really all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Any further speakers? Welcome back, Mr. Wolf.
Good evening again, Harold Wolf, 41619 Kincaid. I have not been on the North Quadrant executive for a couple of years, so I'm not going to, I've had a lot of involvement in the past on public discussions on this, and have expressed my opinions at that time, and some of them have been addressed, some of them haven't. But I'm going to constrain my comments tonight very, very narrowly. The reason Gabo Creek comes up, and they're Gabo, I've not been able to figure out if it's Gabo or Gabo, so just like Con and King. But the reason Gabo is in the report is largely my doing. I've been working on building awareness of the Gabo Creek watershed for over 15 years. That watershed, even though it is so tiny in people's minds, it's huge. It covers everything from the Agnes Street allotment gardens, the north end of Christmas Hill, over to Beckwith Park, all of Broadmead, and the southern extreme parts of the Royal Burial Ground, just a few plots. But all of that drains right past and comes together over near, a lot of it goes under Dieppe there and crosses the highway there, and then is joined by other tributaries and goes into the Coquitlam. So I've been working with three of the councillors here tonight. Have been on walks there, and I've given a number of community walks. I've given a number of presentations. I've asked Councillor Murdoch to put me on the agenda for the Environment Committee so I can give a little bit more detail there. It's been my goal to sort of increase awareness of that watershed and to start doing some remediation work. Where and how, it's fuzzy. But most recently, Peninsula Streams and Ian Bruce have become very, very enthusiastic, and they want to help us get a stewardship group going there starting next year. So the FAT development there, it was an opportunity. I've also taken Ian Fat out and shown him some of the ideas, and therefore he's offered part of his amenity as a kickstarter towards that initiative. Some of the big obstacles that remain, and this is where you will come in on later on, is that the land immediately to the north of the FAT property is actually Ministry of Transportation land. Ministry of Transportation has told me they are enthusiastic about us, i.e. Saanich, taking it over and managing the creek there and doing rehabilitation. They are prepared to give us permission to do that. So I will need, Ian Bruce and I will need Saanich staff to support us in that, and they will only do that if you guys tell them to do that. So that's all coming. But in the meantime, what the opportunity is here, as I said, is that the amenity that's being offered is a Kickstarter. We were going to do this anyway. It's going to be helpful, and the whole project is going to be, whatever resources we can muster. So it's, I just wanted to give that as a matter of background. It's connected, but in some ways it's not connected. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wolf. Are there any other further speakers? Calling for us. Welcome back, Mr. Charania.
Thank you, sir.
Can I get rid of this little square there thing?
Just click outside it.
Just click outside and it's done. Good, thank you. My name is Haji Charania. I reside at 757 Genevieve Road. And tonight I'm speaking as an individual and as a long-term resident of North Quadra community. It gives me absolutely no pleasure to stand before you and strongly oppose this development proposal. I've thought long and hard on this proposal and have come to a conclusion that I just cannot support this development proposal. I feel I've been taken for a ride and yanked around for almost past 4 years, and every time I saw the proposal or went to open house, I came out disappointed. It seemed nothing had changed. The density kept increasing. The variances remain unaddressed. The right-of-way request for bicycle lanes ignored. Frankly, this development does not bring any amenity to North Quadra community.